Greetings, citizens of YouTube. Coming to you live and bearded, I'm Steve Lantern. Welcoming you to the very first episode of my pro wrestling show, Exposed Turnbuckle. This is where we talk about one of my lifelong passions, and that's pro wrestling. I love everything and anything about pro wrestling, and I just would love to do an entire show about it, so I did. Imagine that. So, right away I'm going to get started with, we're going to be talking mostly about WWE. I'm not going to focus on really any other corporations for wrestling, because I really don't keep up with TNA, I really don't keep up with ROH. I mean, if I do in the future, then I absolutely will. But mostly we're going to be focusing on WWE, which is going to be Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and any pay-per-views that they do. So, let's get started with this week's show. So we're still following the aftermath of Hell in a Cell, and I gotta say that the results on Raw have been relatively predictable. So, this past week, for example, WWE announced that they were going to be doing an entire month of WWE Network for free. Not $9.99, for free. What does this mean? It obviously means that the WWE Network is floundering. It is just absolutely tanking. So, this is something that I've just seen. It's not so much a trial period, it's not so much a, hey, let's try and bring in more viewers, we're already doing well. No, the WWE Network, I'm sure, is doing very, very bad right now, because the last couple pay-per-views have really given no reason for people to keep coming back. This is just sad. Like, when I saw that they were giving it away for free, and they were giving away one of their longest-running pay-per-views for free, this was clearly a bad sign. Now, what can be taken away from this? What exactly is wrong? Quite a few things are wrong right now. First, and in my opinion the most glaring problem, is your WWE Champion Brock Lesnar is a part-timer. That's right, the belt has been on Raw a grand total of 3 times since Brock Lesnar won it. And it's just sad. It is very, very sad that the WWE's Prime Championship is completely out of the picture. The fact that it is around the waist of someone who really only shows up when he wants to, it's not a very good look at all. That belt should be making an appearance every single week on Raw, on SmackDown, on any of their programs that they have running that involve anyone holding the belt. That is a very huge problem right now. So, what does this mean? What can we take from this? What could possibly happen? Well, my original prediction was that they were going to have Cena versus Lesnar a third time at Survivor Series. Cena was going to finally beat Brock Lesnar for in this third match, and then Seth Rollins was going to come out, cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase. Seth Rollins is new champion, setting up a storyline between him and John Cena, and it was going down a very predictable road. And WWE hasn't officially confirmed this, or really even given any hint that they're going to be bringing Brock Lesnar to Survivor Series, but I really wouldn't be surprised if they did, especially if they don't see the hike in numbers for the WWE Network that they want. It's just seriously not a good look having your belt on a part-timer. That's why everybody was so objected to Batista being the Royal Rumble winner and the main eventer in WrestleMania. Part-timers just, unless you're The Undertaker, who had a well-established tenure in the WWE, it just does not fly. It doesn't fly for Brock Lesnar, in my opinion. It doesn't fly for Batista. It doesn't fly for any part-timer. If you're not dedicating yourself to the business, then you simply should not be given the belt whatsoever. That right belongs to people who work for it. Now, say what you want about John Cena. I'm no fan of his. Say what you want about Randy Orton. I'm really not a fan of his either. At least they show up. At least they're there. At least when they have the championship, they're there. They make an appearance on television. They're at least present. That is the problem. Now, in a perfect world, we would be seeing at Survivor Series Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins going at it for the WWE Championship. That's in a perfect world, but, well, unfortunately, the WWE, for every flash of brilliance that they have these terrible, terrible instances of ignorance and incompetence. So, right now, we're seeing, a potential feud brewing between him and Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt. So, that could be good. I mean, Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose are both very gifted on the mic, and God help them, they can take a bump like anybody else. But I really feel like WWE dropped the ball on Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. I feel like the Hell in a Cell match was absolutely fantastic, and it definitely showed the chemistry between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. But ultimately, the problem with it is that they just ended it on this. We just still weren't satisfied. We just didn't get any kind of closure with this fight. We just got Bray Wyatt come in, intrude, do his message, and then that was it. And all of a sudden, Dean just completely drops this fight against the Authority and completely drops this fight against Seth Rollins. And to me, that is such a waste of potential. You could have had some prime pay-per-view material if you had just given the belt to Seth Rollins, if you had just had Cena beat Lesnar, Rollins come out, cash in the briefcase, and then win the WWE Championship. You could have had, hell, you could have had a triple threat match between him, John Cena, and Dean Ambrose. You could have had that, and that would have been a pay-per-view seller for Survivor Series. But instead, we are getting a Team Authority versus Team John Cena match. If Team Authority loses, they relinquish all their power, and they are gone forever from Raw. So there's going to be the end of that storyline, because I can tell you right now, Team Cena is not losing. That's not going to happen. Now, there is some potential good from this match with Team Cena versus Team Authority. A lot of people are speculating that Cena is going to call up some people from the WWE NXT roster to join his team. Likely candidates are going to be either Sami Zayn or Adrian Neville. Now, either one of these two would be absolutely fantastic, especially Sami Zayn, who has just been on an absolute rocket to the top. Same with Adrian Neville. Now, Adrian Neville, I'm not really a fan of his mic skills. I really don't think he's got a whole lot going on there, and I think he has weird ears, and that's just me. But I would really love to see Sami Zayn on Raw. I would love to see Sami Zayn make an appearance on the main show. I think that has the potential to be awesome. And then the general public can finally get a view of what they've been missing out on all this time. So I would prefer to see Sami Zayn in Team Cena than Adrian Neville. Adrian Neville's still just the NXT champion. I say just the NXT champion, but this still kind of leaves it up in the air on what could potentially happen. If Zayn gets called up to the main roster, then that means that Neville is going to be holding on to the WWE NXT Championship for a little while longer. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because Neville's been a great NXT champion. However, I know a lot of people have been really pining for Zayn to win the NXT Championship, but he just hasn't been able to do it. So hopefully there's going to be some good coming out of this one way or another, especially when it comes to Zayn and Neville. That's what I'm hoping on. Another thing that seems to be conflicting right now with the whole Cena Authority thing is that they're going to be pulling at the strings of superstars that are more than likely going to join Team Cena. For example, they called out Dolph Ziggler this past week on Raw. They gave him this spiel of, oh, Ziggler, you're the one that always works so hard, but you always hit that glass ceiling. You're always the one that makes others look good, yada, yada, yada. There's a really interesting part about these segments, and I really think that Triple H, I think he really does listen to the fans, and I think he really does hear what we're saying when it comes to stars like Ziggler. He really expressed our own disappointment. He was kind of channeling all of us. And really, it's very true. Ziggler has always been the one to hit that glass ceiling. He wasn't World Heavyweight Champion for very, very long, and that really seemed to be the end of his top-tier performer career. Instead, he's just been relegated to jobbing and mid-carding. I mean, they finally gave him the Intercontinental Championship, for God's sake. That was something that they did for him. But overall, I mean, with that and with this conflict of Team Authority, I really think they are going to pull at the strings and try and get people on their side. I mean, it's no surprise that Kane's going to be on Team Authority, Seth Rollins is going to be on Team Authority. Who knows who else they're going to get in that time. Other likely members for Team Cena, on the other hand, more than likely are Ryback. It looks like Ryback is getting a good pop from the crowd, so he'll probably be joining Team John Cena, so expect to see that. I really wouldn't be too surprised to see, Dean Ambrose. I really wouldn't be surprised to see Ambrose join Cena's side or act as some kind of chaotic element in that match. But the true chaotic element of the match will definitely be Randy Orton, who was injured last week on Raw. Or this past week on Raw, pardon me. So, Orton looks like he's kind of had enough with the Authority. I mean, he really was put on as kind of like a crony over the past few pay-per-views. He really didn't have much of a voice in anything at all. He really felt like they just pushed him right back. Like they just sort of put him on the back burner and that was it, you know. And I'm not going to lie, I don't care. I don't care that they did that to Orton. I've really never been that big of a fan of his. I mean, I definitely liked him a lot better than John Cena. But, I mean, let's face it, it's really time that him and Cena got shelved. Cena and Orton right now are really, really toxic to the growth of other superstars that should be in the main event right now. It is just their presence alone, especially Cena's and the Ambrose Rollins storyline, just shows how awkward it is to still have them there. It doesn't do well for those superstars. Rollins and Ambrose are the best thing going in the WWE right now, followed by Bray Wyatt. And the fact that all of those superstars are being ignored for John Cena and Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar once again is really just proof of that. You can't grow this company without shelving these guys or doing something with them or giving them some alternate role. I realize that they're still in their prime and they're still in just their 30s and they still have got a lot of life left in them, but as of right now, all it's doing is hindering the growth of other superstars who really could be ticket sellers. I mean, it's no secret right now that the people love Ambrose, the people loved Daniel Bryan, people actually, in some way, shape, or form, I'm sure, like seeing Seth Rollins. People like Roman Reigns. Even there are some people that I guess find the storyline with Rusev kind of interesting. Stars like Adrian Neville, Sami Zayn, these guys all should be growing right now. They should be Hideo Itami, the Vaudevillains. NXT right now is easily the best thing about WWE. And the fact that the NXT show is better than Raw, that's saying something. That is telling you that you really need to make that a AAA product or move those AAA superstars over to the main roster. You got to do something. Shelve Cena, shelve Orton, do whatever you can. You have a lot of talent in the wait, just itching to become in that main event, and they'll sell you tickets, but I guess as of right now, they just aren't going to allow that to happen. So with that said, Survivor Series I'm really not looking forward to. I'm not really seeing the appeal of this pay-per-view, especially with Brock Lesnar absent yet again. They just need to get that belt off of him and quick. I don't care who does it at this point. They could bring Santino Marella back and have him get the belt off of Brock Lesnar. I don't care. That belt just needs to be off of Brock Lesnar right now. And it's no offense to him, but it's hurting the brand. It's really just causing this toxic effect on the brand. So, with that being said, that's been this week's Exposed Turnbuckle. I'm Steve Lantern, and until next time, signing out.